you don't want to start redesigning the site or changing your product line based on a really limited sample, because it could be just random. So the more data you can get, the more you can make sophisticated decisions.
Welcome to Honest Ecommerce, where we are dedicated to cutting through the BS and finding actionable advice for online store owners.
I'm your host, Chase Clymer.
And I'm your host, Annette Grant.
And we believe running an online business does not have to be complicated or a guessing game.
If you are struggling to scaling your sales, Electric Guy is here to help. To apply to work with us, visit electricguy.io/connect to learn more.
And let's get on with the show.
On today's episode of Honest Ecommerce, we welcome the co-founder of Littledata, Ari Messer.
He's going to explain to us that our data is broken and how to fix it. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to yet another episode of Honest Ecommerce. I do want to take 1 second to say thank you to everyone that's actually listening to it. I've gotten so many emails from people or just correspondence where people are like, we actually listened to your podcast. Like, I learned something from your podcast. So now I have like proof that I'm not just talking into the cloud.
Well, Chase, I hate to break it to you. That's me. I've made a lot of aliases and I'm emailing you to make you feel good about yourself.
Cool. Well, then that's a bummer. Anyways, welcome to Honest Ecommerce. I'm Chase Clymer, my co-host Annette Grant. And today we welcome to the show Ari from Littledata. He is going to kick our butts into gear with Google Analytics. Welcome to the show, Ari, and let us know how you know so much about analytics.
It's good to be here. And I haven't created any aliases, but I have liked the show that I've heard so far. I think it's great to have something here that's, merchants really find useful. And I bet other agencies and tech partners too. So
yeah, I just don't like to blow smoke up people's butts. I like it to be honest and like real.
For sure.
It takes hard work.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot more space for that now. It's if you can, speak intelligently to people, they'll pay attention.
Absolutely.
So anyway, the more you learn about analytics, the more there is to know. Basically, I joined Littledata as a co-founder a few years ago, and we've been on Shopify since, basically about 2 years now, and adding a lot of connections, the main ones to Google Analytics. So what I knew before joining was really about how analytics could be used to help people grow a SaaS app, because I'd really worked in the startup space a lot, and now have learned more and more about analytics for e-commerce. So that's what we're here to talk about today.
Awesome. So I guess what was that transition like? How did you go from helping SaaS companies to kind of building Littledata? Yeah,
it was really a natural transition. I mean, I guess as we all know, like e-commerce is it's huge. It's growing in all directions. It's continuing to grow, and not just in the US, but all around the world. So yeah, I'd had some cool gigs helping SaaS companies build out integrations. I mean, used to work mostly on the product marketing side. Now being this close with the company, I sort of do all kinds of things. But it was really a lot of those integrations were either directly e-commerce related or something that was sort of peripherally e-commerce related, like helping build out an integration to do retargeting for cart abandonment, stuff like that. And then with Littledata, I met Edward Upton, the original founder, in London, actually, and kind of came on in as a consultant at first and just thought, oh, wow, this is a really cool idea. You're actually helping people fix their data, not just report on it.
So what is one of those like common mistakes that you guys were seeing out there with the data? What's broken with my data?
Yeah, I'm nervous that I need fixing. I'm positive I probably need fixing.
We do have an audit tool, I will just say up front, that people can plug in and sort of get a sense for what might be tracked correctly, what's not. So there are all kinds of things that can go wrong. I think for Shopify stores in particular, there's often a mismatch between how sales are being calculated. So that includes like different parts of the checkout funnel, when types of products or product groups people are adding to cart that maybe are eventually not purchased, all the way through actual sales and refunds.
I can agree with that. I noticed there's always a mismatch between the number in Google Analytics and the number that's in Shopify.
Absolutely. And with our app, we basically fix that issue. Sometimes you have to do a few more connections and activate some of our plugins, like if you're using Recharge to do subscription sales, whatever it might be. But basically what the app does, not to get too geeky, but what it does is use server-side tracking so that every single user action and every sale is tracked in Google Analytics. So that then what you see in Shopify, the actual numbers will match what you see in GA.
Wait, so you can get yours to match spot on Google Analytics and Shopify?
I would say 99.9%.
Wow. Okay, yeah, because I know that doesn't happen.
Annette's mind is blown.
Yeah, I'm already. So if things aren't tracking properly, is this the developer didn't set the Google Analytics upright? Let's kind of peel it back for our listeners, and if they're looking, at their Google Analytics, what are some red flags right there that they could take a look at where they would be in need of fixing of that and your app? So kind of walk me through, because I look at my Google Analytics sometimes with just glazed over eyes because it gets very confusing. So what are the top things to look at, and then especially that might need to be fixed there?
For sure. Well, yeah, I would say the main thing is just like Chase was mentioning, that just raw sales numbers. Like when you look at the number in your bank account, maybe doesn't match what Shopify shows, and that doesn't match what's in Google Analytics. So that's definitely a red flag, because then if you're looking at any sort of marketing campaign, I know we're all getting more and more sophisticated about using audiences and all this stuff, like fancy stuff for retargeting and trying to sort of sell people stuff that they're more likely to want to buy. But then often you go in there and look and say, well, this campaign, it seems to have worked really well, and yet the overall sales number is not matching, what should be for the number of conversions that we thought we got. So it's any kind of mismatch like that when you're like, this just doesn't seem right. And then, of course, as you grow, there's being off by a couple percent means more and more amount of money. So any kind of mismatch is kind of the thing to look for.
Yeah, it's just a snowball effect. You're like, oh, it's just a few dollars, but
for sure
that can add up.
And I wouldn't, don't blame the developers. Some of it's just that Shopify's native their native sort of tracking and their native Google Analytics integrations are fine, but they're just not that sophisticated. And as we all know, part of that's because they have this really awesome app ecosystem. So you kind of have to find the right tools to make sure it works so that nothing's going missing. And I've been guilty of it too, for sure, that maybe not tagging campaigns consistently. Like when you're making new Facebook campaigns and then you start to add more, and then, totally a snowball effect. And then suddenly you have a whole bunch. And how do you really organize them or make sure everything's tracked right?
There's just so much in there. So I just want to bring it down to simplify it a bit for our listeners. So, I've got Joe's shoe shop. We're selling sneakers. It's a real business, right? This isn't like a side hustle. This is my full-time job. What are the KPIs I should be looking at in Google Analytics? Let's just try to educate people about Google Analytics a bit.
Sure. Yeah. So one thing you should be looking at is sort of how detailed, I would say, you can, if you start to wonder, is this product group performing well? Stuff that's sort of outside of just normal questions about overall, how's the business doing? Yeah, so stuff like payment, cart abandonment, products being added to the cart, are particular pages getting more views than other pages? Let's see, what are some other basic things? Does that make sense? It's the sort of details, if you think about merchandising, or you're thinking about the next season or what you're going to do for a promotion. If you want to go in and look in GA to try to figure out a data-driven view of what to sell or what to promote, or things that might sell more, get more subscriptions. If you have, let's say that the shoe business had subscription running shoes where you got a new one every month or every quarter or something, you'd want to go into GA and be able to see the type of product that you should promote.
Hey, if you're in the product making business, then we've got great news for you. Katana is here to make your life easier.
There's now a Shopify app built and designed for merchants that make their own products. Manage your sales, orders, raw materials, production schedule, inventory, and material purchasing all from one dashboard. The name of that app is Katana. Katana.
Katana is designed for makers, crafters, and small manufacturers selling on Shopify. Until now, product makers selling on e-commerce have had to settle with messy spreadsheets or regular inventory management software. We know they both usually suck if you need to make your own products. Fortunately, Katana is built from ground up with the needs of a small manufacturer in mind. Production scheduling and inventory management has never been this easy for Shopify merchants. A recent survey shows that 93% of Katana's users say they love it because of the ease of the setup and how intuitive it is.
To try Katana for free, sign up at www.katanamrp.com. That's KATANAMRP.com. Or search Katana on the Shopify App Store. There's a 14-day free trial. You do not need a credit card. And when you're signing up, use the promo code HONEST to get 30% off your first 3 months of a paid subscription.
Check out Katana today.
I think that is usually a common oversight with analytics is it's just data. It's just a bunch of numbers. And you have to extrapolate from those numbers and make inferences. You got to kind of use that data to drive your business, and there isn't like a one size fits all approach to it. It's definitely kind of business specific.
Yeah, for sure. And so for us, with Littledata, what the app does is first fix the tracking. So then that for your particular business, you can go in and figure out, what are the key metrics to pay attention to. So, I guess with Recharge, I'm sure you have a lot of clients doing subscription-based business.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that true? Yeah. And we're definitely seeing a lot of people that are either experimenting with subscriptions or that's like all of what they do, for like athletic supplements or workout clothes, whatever it is. And so they might want to see, I'm just bringing that up because I think it's a really good sort of case study in how a basic fix in analytics can really help. And you might want to just see if your advertising campaigns are leading to more first-time purchases or recurring purchases, like people signing up to get stuff every month. And that, unless you've set up tracking correctly for the checkout flow, you'll go into Google Analytics and you could be, running your company for years and go in and suddenly realize there's no way to see that split.
Yeah, that's definitely important information.
This might be a left field question, but Ari, can the app at all help with search engine optimization, or the organic there? If things are behind the scenes are running smoother, could it help you notice things that would help you rise to the top a little bit more in search?
To a degree. That's definitely not the main focus,
right.
But we do have some fixes, both sort of audit checks,
okay,
and actually benchmarks against other sites, which you can also see in the app against other Shopify stores and things for technical performance stuff like page load speed. It actually does have a big effect on SEO.
Oh, cool. So you have, just to make sure I understand this, inside the app, you will have competition in there and I could see their page speed load compared to mine. If my
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. No, that's something, a huge value then.
Yeah. So we have it kind of we have those benchmarks broken down by sector. So you could look and say, obviously you can't see the actual stores. It's all anonymized. I should say that up front.
Okay.
But you could go in and say against other people selling shoes with an average order value around, $100 per purchase, whatever it is. Right. Is this a good page load speed? Is this a good conversion rate? Stuff like that.
That's really valuable.
It is. So, there's data everywhere. Is it only Google Analytics that you guys are taking a look at?
So the main app does connect with Google Analytics. Our main Shopify app is called, we're calling it Google Analytics. But we also are about to launch, well, I guess by the time this podcast comes out, hopefully, knock on wood, we will have launched an app for Segment. So Segment is sort of a connector between all kinds of different apps and platforms. And what this app will do is pull Shopify data. And again, making sure everything's tracked correctly. So all the checkout steps and sales and et cetera. And pull that into Segment. So then you can connect it from Segment to any destination, which includes Google Analytics, but also like Mixpanel, Heap. There's all kinds of other stuff on there.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I'm over here on the website and I see there's so many connections that you guys have set up.
Cool. Yeah. When we're building out more and more. So definitely, listeners, if there are things that you'd like to see, or if you found a particular analytics problem, let us know, and maybe we can fix it or help you find a way to sort of automatically check if it's working or not.
Do you want to explain those connections? Like I'm actually looking at your site right now too. So if I were to call in to see if I could get the app, what are some of those things that you would talk about, like the Facebook ads connection that you have?
Sure. Yeah. So basically, for all the connections, other than segment, what happens is first you connect to Google Analytics. So that we're using that as sort of the ultimate source of truth. And we want to make sure there is one ultimate source of truth, because we always recommend to clients, it's good to gather lots of data and you want to be able to get detailed, but you really want to focus on just a couple of core metrics that are most important, like we were saying earlier, to your business, right? So for some people, that will be how their Facebook ad cost contributes to a particular detail about sales for one kind of product or a new product type or sales type or whatever it is. So what the Facebook ads connection does is actually pull your ad cost and campaign details into GA, so that then you can see, you don't have to rely on what Facebook's telling you in terms of how well an ad has performed and how many conversions you got. You can look and say, oh, this campaign actually led to people adding a bunch of this type of product to the cart, or it ended up leading to, X amount of subscription revenue.
So you can drill down to the product level to see like what had been added to the cart from that campaign.
Exactly. Google makes that pretty easy to do with with their own products. Obviously, they make it fairly complicated for people using other platforms. And so, what a connection like that does exactly is pull in the Facebook data, and then suddenly you can just plug that in along with everything else.
Now, can I use this app to also see that sort of information from like Google AdWords and Google Shopping?
Good question.
You can. The AdWords connection works a little differently, whereas it's pulling. I mean, the effect is similar, but it actually lets you pull your analytics data into AdWords so that you can see sales, again, like product sales next to campaign performance.
Support for our podcast comes from our friends at Simpler, a new way to staff 24/7 sales and customer service on your e-commerce store. It works with your existing email and chat platforms, so setup is quick and easy.
Simpler's network of on-demand, U.S.-based Simpler specialists are standing by to answer your customers' most common questions. Set it up for free today and then turn it on or off depending on your customer volume. You only pay $2.25 for every resolution. No hidden fees, contracts, or minimums.
Close more sales with Simpler by staffing your email and live chat around the clock with Simpler specialists.
Start your free 7-day trial at simpler.ai/honest. That's simpler.ai/honest.
This is wild. I'm 100% going to do a demo of this app.
Awesome. Yeah.
I have a question then. Chase, you might be able to answer this too. So for instance, like, are my Facebook ads currently connected to Google Analytics automatically, or do you have to do that? Or do you have to have an app like Littledata to do that for you, to connect the two?
Yeah, I'd have to take a look at yours in particular, but in general, unless you've gone through and set it up, no, they won't be. You would have, you might have sort of Facebook as a source, but that's not... That won't give you much detail.
Right. Because I think specifically going back to what you guys just talked about, I have an ad running right now for a piece of equipment that's a higher dollar, and I'm making sales off the ad, but I'm not selling that particular product. And I want to drill down and see exactly what I'm selling off of the ad, but I can't do that in Facebook ads. But this would enable me to do that, correct?
Exactly.
That's awesome.
There we go. That's the perfect test.
Yeah. Because I was like, how can I figure out?
Found, like,
and you can take it one step further. See, are those people viewing that expensive product for a long time? Create a segment to retarget those people, educate those people, set up some drip campaigns if you have their email.
Exactly. Super smart. Because it's kind of like, maybe they're not buying it, but they actually were really interested in it. They're like, oh, I'll try this first.
And then it's your job to market them and educate them. Here's the thing. I think with just any advertising campaigns is people like go for the kill, like instantly. It's buy this, buy this, buy this. You need to like explain what the product is first and educate them about the product, especially if it's like an expensive product. No one's just going to drop $100 plus on something that they didn't know existed before your ad.
They won't drop 500, not knowing what it is. I actually am running an ad strictly like, hey, I'm going to run this ad, new product, 30 days and do it. But what's happening exactly my issue. So sign me up for the app today because I can't I don't know what they're buying. They're not buying the high dollar. They're buying other products. And I want to see how that ad is, trickle down. So that's something before we even started this conversation. I didn't know that connection would do that. That is,
or it existed in general.
Yeah, that's rad.
We have clients ask all the time to drill down like
what product sold on the ad.
Well, what are people doing from the ad if they're not like take one step back? It's like, yeah, you made money off the ad. Your return on ad spend is fantastic, but they're like, cool. Like, what were they buying? And it's like no easy way to see that in Facebook.
That is
totally. And we, even when we started Littledata, we didn't realize that at first. And as we started working with more companies, we were doing sort of custom setups with Tag Manager and stuff to try to figure this out. And then we're like, wait a sec. If we could just build something that would pull this into Google Analytics, voila.
That's so valuable. Yeah, my brain is kind of rocked at that. That's awesome.
Yeah, you just ruined Annette's weekend. Now she's going to play with this.
He didn't ruin it. He
just sit there with the screen. This is what we all do.
Facebook
Well, actually, that's something I want to point out. It takes time to get data that you can make a decision from. You don't need to be looking at your data every day. It's like unless you're getting so many page views and sessions a day, which is top tier $1 million companies plus, like you don't have enough data to make a decision on from 24 hours ago. Like even with ads, if you're not spending thousands of dollars a day, you gotta let your ads run for like a week before you can see what the hell's going on.
Right. Actually, Chase, you taught me that. Like this specific ad that I'm running right now, it's what, the 28th of the month? We started running it at the beginning. I said, hey, I'm not even going to look at this. Let's just let it roll. Like, let's not even look at it all. I looked at it yesterday and I was like, wait, what's happening here? Because I was like, we're not, I would know if I sold that high dollar product. We didn't. And I'm like, I'm just going to let this roll for a while, just not even pay attention to it, focus on everything else. And when I looked at it yesterday, I'm like, wait, what's going on? We're selling stuff. We're not selling that product. The ad's working, but how? So,
yeah, it's like the attribution on Facebook is unique in and of itself. Like you can set the window up to be whatever you want. And honestly, you can get some sketchy agencies that fucking make that thing really long. And they get that attribution up. And they're like, yeah, like we made you all this money. But you're like, well, where is it? Where's that money?
Yeah.
So, all right, I have a question again as, being a store owner, and I have wonderful developers that I work with, but sometimes I try to do some of this stuff myself. So after my mind's been blown and I get the app, is this something that you need to have a developer connect for you? Or is it really, is it easy enough for a DIY store owner to do themselves?
Yeah, we've definitely tried to make it easy enough. And the good thing is that for Shopify, I mean, we do have clients on other platforms like Magento, BigCommerce, but for Shopify, it's fully automated now.
What?
So unless you have a really customized theme, in which case we do have a sort of separate setup steps where a support team can help you, it all should just happen automatically.
And that is for Facebook ads also?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's the same, like, you'll have to manually, it'll give you a guide in the app. You'll have to make sure that the campaigns have been named in a certain way and stuff. Just there's some things we can't do automatically, but if for those few things that we can't do, it gives very clear steps.
Cool. So what size stores does this make sense for?
Yeah, well, really, I always say like anyone who thinks, who really wants to grow should start tracking things early, because otherwise you'll get to a point where you can't go back and get historic data if the tracking wasn't set. But yeah, once you're starting to do traffic, our basic plan runs up to about 500 orders per month, because we have the pricing tiered based on sessions, orders, or sales. But the number of orders is a pretty good indicator. So once you're starting to get traffic and have some orders come through, it's a good time to go with it. And then for our enterprise plans where we do help with custom setup and reporting and things as needed, those are generally larger, bigger D2C brands doing maybe 5 to 50 million a year.
Awesome. I do see too, just for our listeners, this is something I always like that when apps offer this, they offer a 25% off discount if you pay the annual fee up front. So you can save some serious dollars there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hey, you're doing my job for me. That's a good point.
Yeah. No, I'm taking a peek at it. So I'm like, oh, that's just, it's always nice to be rewarded if you're going to pay for something up front. So as a consumer.
Good. Yeah. And we do find, like Chase was saying, it takes a while to start gathering the data and for advertising campaigns and also just for understanding user flows on your site, because you really need a lot of information. You don't want to start redesigning the site or changing your product line based on a really limited sample, because it could be just random. So the more data you can get, the more you can make sophisticated decisions.
Awesome. I think that is the gem of the podcast right there. And with that, I think we're going to wrap this one up. Is there anything that you want to leave with our guests? I know everyone probably wants to go check out the app. It's littledata.io/Shopify for 90% of our listeners are probably on Shopify.
Yeah, cool. No, yeah, nothing in particular. We do, if you're using Recharge, our Recharge connection is really powerful and will probably solve a lot of tracking issues that you thought couldn't be solved. So check that out. And that's about it. It's a great podcast. Good to be here.
Awesome. No, thank you so much. We appreciate it. You actually answered the question I was going to ask Chase after the podcast.
Like I hate I hate when we have podcasts and this is going to go on the podcast. I hate when it's like a sales letter for the app, but this app is just so fancy. It works. It solves problems, and that's what people want.
For sure.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Actually, it's solving problems I didn't even know there was a solution for. So that's exciting. That's super exciting.
Cool.
So thank you, Ari. Yeah. We appreciate having you on today. Your time.
No problem. Oh, and just one more thing along the line of questions. Yeah, if anyone has questions, even if they don't need the app, whatever, we do a lot on our blog around analytics issues. So feel free to write to us with topics you'd like covered, and we'll sort of investigate.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I'll check that. I'll check the blog out too.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. All right. Bye.
We can't thank our guests enough for coming on the show and sharing the truth. Links and more will be available in the show notes. If you found any actionable advice in this podcast that you'd like to apply to your business, please reach out at electriceye.io/connect.
Please make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcast app of choice.